Camera 1 is rolling.
Audio.
I'm Lindsay.
Recording.
Camera 2.
I just came back from vacation, guys.
It's sort of asphalt.
Is a...
Shut up.
And camera 2.
Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 24 of Knights at the Round Table. Today we are discussing the book How to Flirt with a Naked Werewolf by Molly Harper. I got the number! Yay! I'm going to start with general impressions of the book, and I'm going to start with Jennifer.
Since when do you call me by my full name, first off?
I like to mix it up.
Apparently. This was actually recommended by me for In the Bowl because I found it incredibly fun the first time I read it, and that wasn't that long ago, so I don't have, memories of fondness and stuff.
No nostalgia.
Yeah, I just, in general, find it fun and light and happy.
Garth?
Well, I for one am disappointed. I read this book cover to cover, and I can tell you, they never once tell you how to flirt with a naked werewolf. False advertising from beginning to end.
Of course they do. Take the bear trap off his ankle. That's how you flirt with him.
And you ignore him as much as possible.
Oh, yeah, yes, and get angry, and... I'm just drowning in the cliche here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, the moment the book really opened, I was like, I know exactly how this is going to go. I can point out beat for beat everything that will happen right up to the rushed conclusion. Boom. Now, it was enjoyable for all of that. I did enjoy the book. It wasn't something I'd get a sequel for, but it was okay.
Okay, so I'm the same. This book is incredibly predictable, but it's fun. You know exactly what you're going to be picking up when you read the title, How to Flirt with a Naked Werewolf, and you get exactly what you're expecting.
No, you don't.
I got exactly what I was expecting out of this book. But it was a fun read. It's not something that I would probably put on my own bookshelf. It's not something that goes into the psychology of people who are suffering under, two different identities or anything like that. It's not deep by any measure, but there is a lot of sass. And it's a fun book. There's a couple of great action scenes. It's fun. Was there anything that really bothered anyone about this book? Really annoyed them?
The just cold predictability of it, the pure adherence to formula is what bothered me the most about it. The writing was okay. The characters were they were all right. They weren't bad. We were told way more than we were shown ever. The werewolves were okay. They weren't exactly interesting. It's just, okay, he's a werewolf. What does that have to do with anything at this point? The mystery, such as it is, was
so predictable.
So predictable. And it followed conventions of the type of story to a T. It went from the way that they initially hate each other, except, from, minute one of their introduction, they're going to be having sex. Really, as it comes, they can barely keep away from each other, yet they're I hate you too. Arr, arr, arr.
Yeah.
They're pirates.
Yeah. No, they're growling, because he's a wolf, remember?
Yes. Although the adherence to convention didn't bother me so much.
It didn't. Okay.
But what did bother me was, and I know this is part of the adherence to convention, but I'm away from my pack because I did something terrible. Except it turns out that terrible thing that he did was save everybody in his pack.
Yeah.
What?
Sure.
What?
You whiny little...
Right?
It's like, I'm gonna mope about myself out here in the wilderness away from my pack. Oh, woe is me, I killed 12 people who were gonna murder us.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Moping is okay, provided that you have a good enough reason, and saving your loved ones is not a reason to mope.
No.
That really bugged me.
Like, and nothing...
At least have a good reason.
We had never been given and shown anything that this guy had such deep morality before
Right,
that.
yeah.
That killing somebody would be such a huge scar on his psyche. And literally no one else in the book reacts in any way near that way. Our somewhat human protagonist is just, like, she hears about it and she's like, cool! Like,
To be fair, I would be the same way. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, you killed people to protect the ones you love? I feel safe around you. Let's be friends.
They
Yeah.
were threatening to
Right?
kill your young sister.
Yeah.
They weren't gonna like back off, and you're a bunch of violent fricking werewolves. Just kill each other.
Yeah. Werewolves.
Is
Sort of straying from the werewolf narrative, as in can't help but change. These ones could change at will.
that's
And
not
it
that's
wasn't.
not really unusual though.
Well-
In the genre, it's not unusual.
Yeah, well, it is a little bit, because these were... It wasn't like they even started off being... having to change and then slowly getting control of it, the way they did in, say, Underworld, for example. They just could change at will. Which
Have
was...
you read?
And in Harry Potter terms, I'm just like, so you're really more of an animagus than you are a werewolf. Like...
Have you read
But genetically?
others in the same sort
Well,
of
yeah.
urban fantasy genre, like the Anita Blake stories,
No.
or they're all like that. The werewolves can
So-
change whenever the frick they want.
So they're less werewolves than animega.
They're less werewolves
I
than
would say
Animagi, but
shapeshifters.
yeah, no,
Which
they're-
is what an animagus
Except
is.
one shape.
yeah, they're shapeshifters who can take on the form of a wolf or a half wolf, half human hybrid sometimes. But pretty much they can do it all the time. They just feel the need to do it more in the full moon. This is an established genre convention.
Is it though? 'Cause
It is.
Real? I'm getting nods from the peanut gallery. So I guess the werewolf myths I've been reading are...
The werewolf myths you've been thinking of are based on Universal horror pictures. They're not actual werewolf mythology. Not that these books are using actual werewolf mythology themselves, but just because you're going back to something invented in the 1930s doesn't mean it's true classical mythology. In fact, in actual werewolf mythos, as far as I know, they could change more or less whenever they wanted to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah, see, I'm learning something. Did not
And
know
they
that.
classically, I think they were either cursed by the devil, as you are generally, or they are.
Wait, me specifically?
Redhead.
Red hair.
Strawberry blonde, okay,
Look.
guys?
As you in general, if you're turning into something else, you're usually cursed by the devil, or they're essentially animagi,
Yeah, okay.
which is a Harry Potter term, and these things predate Harry Potter.
Oh, no, I know. It was just
Like-
that reading it, I was like, this is not like the
This
werewolf.
does-
No.
Oh,
okay,
but
okay.
The conventions of the genre tend to. And yeah, classic horror movies, they transform on the full moon, and it's not in their control, and they don't want to be werewolves. But if you're going to write a story about a bunch of people who turn into wolves and aren't vicious, mindless beasts, you got to give them some level of control over what they're doing. So the easy way to do that
Yes, yeah, I
is
guess.
to make them capable of transforming whenever they want to. Now, it really, like, again, the old Universal horror pictures, Silver kills werewolves and shit.
Oh, no, that.
So, and they transform on the full moon and they become mindless, ravening beasts and they go around killing. Like, remember, in actual mythology, nothing is that static and nothing is that simple. Like, if someone's transforming into a wolf, there's any number of ways to become a werewolf, including apparently drinking water from a wolf's paw print.
That's stagnant water. That shouldn't be done anyways.
Yeah, no, it really shouldn't. But sometimes you really want to be a werewolf. Like in this case, of course, it's all genetic for some reason. And they do acknowledge that it is magic at some point.
Yeah.
It's just like, this don't make no sense. It's magic.
Yeah, it's more magic than science, I think, was the line that was used.
And they then specifically start referring to it as wolf magic or werewolf magic. So there is that. And this is an author who has done other urban fantasy style romance stories.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this author at all, so...
Neither am I, but just looking through a bit of her I don't know what to call it, author's bibliography?
Yeah, bibliography.
Okay. You can see that she's done vampire stories and such, which is, generally how you start with these things.
It was actually how she started.
Yeah.
She did them first, and you can tell the first book of the vampire books was rough. I read these first, and then I went and read the vampire ones, and I was like, ooh, yeah, I can see where she improved.
You do get better. There's still, the telliness of it, the constant, we're not going to show anything by actions. It's just straight up, let's tell you exactly what my history was. Let's tell you all this. There's the standard issue, explain what the rules of werewolfness.
That's
long
not
expository segments.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me so much because for each universe you do have to.
You do have to do that.
So...
I prefer it to be done in a more natural way. In this case, it wasn't so bad. Honestly, this was not bad
compared to some things.
Compared to some things, the explanations were fit in fairly well. The fact that they really just didn't sit down and have a conversation about werewolfness at any point. It's just, oh yeah, by the way, do you know about this? It's like, oh yeah. We explain it by this. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I loved the main character.
Mo?
Yeah, I love her. Moonflower. Moonflower, 1,400 different names, and then her last name. Yeah. She had so much sass that I was smiling practically every page. She has so many great lines in this book when she's explaining stuff, like how all the men in this small Alaskan town are going after her, and she's like, it's not really all that flattering because they basically have a 2-part checklist. Breasts, check. Pulse, optional, but check. That was the first time I laughed out loud. I startled the cats. They went running. I burst out laughing because, it's very funny to me.
Yeah, she was pretty snarky.
Yeah, she was very snarky. I really liked it.
It was actually her snarkiness that made me want to pick this up, because I saw somebody reading this book on the bus however many years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was just kind of like, ooh, a book, let's read over her shoulder. And I, like, one paragraph in, it was the end of a chapter, and I was like, this is hilarious. What book is that? Okay, buying this tonight.
Yep. Yeah, there were so many great lines. Another one of my favorite was Buzz and that sheriff dude. When Buzz took her side, was basically tearing the sheriff off, and she really enjoyed it because she expected that the sheriff would have thought Buzz would have been on his side because he was a fellow law enforcement officer and testosterone vessel.
Mm-hmm.
That was another moment for me.
Here's one thing I actually liked that the book did, was that it set up the love triangle and then just let it fall apart.
Yeah.
Without following through on the inevitable, misunderstandings and betrayals and whatnot. It's just, nope. This guy sees that she's shacked up with Werewolf Dude, and he's like, well, okay.
Yep.
And backs off.
Yeah, only to try again when Werewolf Dude runs away.
Werewolf Dude fucks off for
the
whatever
stupidest reason.
Yeah, so he's an idiot, but he fucks off, and then Park Ranger Dude's like, hey, so it's winter, you're pregnant, I can help out.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't think so. And he's like, okay. And he leaves it at that.
He leaves it at that.
He's a mature adult. I don't know, unlike her werewolf.
Yeah, who's like throwing the biggest hissy fit ever.
Yes.
One thing I did like was I noticed when they had sex without a condom And I was like, they better bring that back.
Was it in the car?
In the car.
When
Yeah, and I was
steering
like...
is so uncomfortable.
I was like...
I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, that cannot be
She
comfortable.
cannot be comfortable because she's up against the steering wheel and literally bent over it, so her head is hitting the windshield.
There are going to be some uncomfortable bruises.
Well,
coming out of
hopefully
that.
the steering wheel was angled this way rather than...
It doesn't matter how you angle it; it's going to be awful.
But anyways, I'm glad
I thought they were in the passenger seat, and then they started
I
talking
totally
about
thought
bending
they
it.
were in the passenger
And I'm like,
seat.
wait, no.
But I'm glad
And
that
she's
there was
orgasming?
consequences.
Like, how is she?
Yeah.
Because I was like, they had sex without a condom. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Oh yeah, fuck. Had sex with a condom, gonna get pregnant. Yep, absolutely.
Especially because of his stupid ninja werewolf sperm.
Ninja werewolf, sorry. She did have good lines.
Yeah, right? She
She was
did.
like the only one who had good lines in the entire story.
I genuinely felt sad when the name escapes me. I want to say, no, it's not Angus.
Abner?
Abner died.
Oh yeah, I was so upset.
Spoiler alert. Abner dies.
He was one of my favorite characters.
He was one of my favorite
of
characters.
the background.
Yeah, of the NPCs, basically.
Yeah.
He seemed so throwaway to me. I did not care.
Yeah, well, he was throwaway, but he was endearing throwaway.
Yeah.
He was an endearing old guy.
He
who
was an old
continually
guy
hit
who
on
hit
her.
on her
Yeah.
a lot, and
But in an endearing kind of friendly way.
we didn't get to know him. We only got to know that he's an old guy who hit on her a lot, and he was relatively friendly. End of story. And then he dies, and he dies get ripped up by a werewolf. But then again, I expected a lot more people to get ripped up by a werewolf in this story. So okay, and I'm like, all right, it's bad that he died, but then it didn't have an impact. If it had been Buzz, that would have been different.
Oh yeah, no.
That would have had a real impact because the guy's been really in the story, and it would have had an impact on Evie, which would it would have just rippled out. Abner dying is just, oh, that's sad. Let's move on.
No, I mean I wasn't sobbing, but yeah, I was like, oh, that made me sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if she I don't know, she didn't kill off the author didn't kill off a major character, just a sub background character, and I've seen that before, and it's not bad.
Well, it's a romance.
It's a romance. It's not.
It's supposed to be cheerful for the most part.
I don't know if you're.
Yeah, I'm not.
I wouldn't call it cheerful.
Well, the end was so Disney. I was rolling my eyes.
God, yes. With her parents, it's like we turned over a new leaf.
Oh, and also brother and sister, we love each other again. Never mind that she tried to.
Everything's so happy.
Everything's happy.
Everything
Yay.
is awesome.
Skippity doo dah.
Everything is cool when
Skippity
you're
day.
part of
Like,
a team.
it annoyed me.
Yeah.
About how it's not even that everything was neatly wrapped up. It's just that everything was ridiculously cheerful.
Yeah, no, everyone was so happy.
I think that says a lot about me.
I'm
that
like,
cheerful endings
there
piss me off, but
better not be any sequels to this book.
It's focused on the sister.
Of course.
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
You're like, I don't mind.
yeah. Actually, I think that's pretty cool that it focuses on the sister.
She was way more interesting than Cooper was.
Sad, stupid mopey Cooper.
And she's
Who was mopey for no reason. God
like,
damn it!
The moment she sees him, she just tries to kill him, and I'm like, you know what? I like this girl. Let's see what more is up with her.
I was not a huge fan of the attempted love triangle, mostly because I'm so sick of the line of thought of, oh, I really want the bad boy even though this person is eminently more suitable for me, kind of, when it's so obviously not the case, because she is snarky as hell. So, I don't think Alan would be able to put up with that very long.
He's literally only putting up with her because she's new in town.
Yeah, new and available. Breasts, check. Pulse, optional, but check.
Yeah. But, and that, again, that's a convention of the genre where your main character lady is the most beautiful woman around, even if she's not described as such.
Yeah.
Everyone wants her.
Yeah. I know it is, but it's so boring because it is the convention. Every time I read it, I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Now, the fact that it went nowhere was something I liked. But
yes, I liked that she stayed at least resolutely loyal to Cooper, even when he was being a dick.
Mm.
Oh, God, but the porn star sex that they kept having.
I appreciated that.
I'm just like,
It was amusing.
It was
this
amazing.
This is funny, but
I count it as research, honestly. Like,
one thing I do want to mention.
I think I killed people.
Don't spit on the furniture.
Or the camera.
Or the camera.
Or the laptop.
Oh yeah, that's so too.
Unless you want me to direct coffee to the laptop so you can get a new one.
No.
One thing I will mention is that I could never read her in a southern accent.
No, I didn't either.
I kept forgetting.
She didn't use. It's not the fact that like it wasn't phonetically spelled out.
No, it was the lack of
word
idioms.
choice.
Yeah, yeah.
In the lack of idioms, she spoke like everybody else in the story, unless she was. Like there were times when it was specifically called out that she was speaking in a southern accent, and then she would say one thing and it would never recur again.
Yeah.
Like it was really like the way to get accents in writing is the word choice and the way a sentence flows.
Yeah.
It's not like, and there was just none of that.
Didn't they mention though that she was trying to, or she had tried to play down her accent? Like
Yeah,
when
but
she
it
was in
still-
university, she was actively trying to not sound
Southern?
southern.
Well, she was at university in the South.
Yeah.
Like where everybody would sound Southern. There'd be no reason. Even then, they mention it all the time how she has this Southern accent that they all just want to hear more of, especially at the beginning. But it never comes out in the writing, nor for her parents.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come out for them or her friend Kara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does not come out for any of them. So we're told she's from the South, but I can never read her voice as Southern.
No, I didn't. That's true. I didn't read her voice as southern.
I didn't really
either.
think about that.
Yeah. And yeah, it might be. I don't think it was a deliberate choice on the author's part.
No, I think she just didn't think about it and maybe didn't know how to write a Southern accent.
Yeah, I think you might be right. But
I
you
think
can.
she's from Kentucky, so
Which
isn't really
South. It has an accent of its own, but it's
Yeah.
not a Southern accent.
Yeah.
Especially not a Louisiana, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
on the
from-
Mississippi.
She's on the Mississippi, so she's from Mississippi or Louisiana. So, like, she should have a thick, like, Southern drawl, and she doesn't.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't think it was a deliberate choice on the author's part,
No.
but it does help set up the I don't belong in this place-ness of the character.
See, I never got that either. I never got a I don't belong here sort of feel from her. Oh, in the South?
In the South.
Okay.
Yeah. She's like
No, she fits perfectly into
Alaska.
Grundy.
Yeah, into Grundy, Alaska.
Slots right in there, but
Phrasing!
no, I meant what I said.
One thing I really liked about Grundy is I really wanted to move there.
It sounded
Halfway
beautiful,
through, I was
didn't it?
like, I hate the cold. Why do I want to go there?
Oh, really? I hate the heat. I was reading that and I'm like, oh my god, it's like 31 degrees. Take me to Grundy, Alaska, please.
And it's not just like my pregnancy hormones
Yeah,
that are
right.
telling me that I want to go someplace cold. It's even the first time I read it,
Yeah,
I wanted to go there, and I was like,
it sounded beautiful.
I hate
seriously?
small country towns. I'd never want to move to Grundy.
I would want.
I think I'd get bored in a small
You'd get
country
eaten
town, but I
alive.
wouldn't
Do you
know.
understand how many bugs are out there?
Yeah, good point. She doesn't mention the bugs.
The only time you wouldn't be eaten alive is during the dead of winter when there's 15 feet of snow preventing you from
Snow
going
fight!
anywhere.
Sounds like the most fun ever.
Yeah, you'll have a snow fight with the dude 5 miles down the road.
Okay, isolation seems like an amazing thing for me. Seriously, I want a house in the country where there's nothing around for miles except maybe my horses.
And Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, Wi-Fi.
High-speed internet. You know, okay, I can live in the country isolated like that. It helped me a lot for doing writing and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
but
and also
I
people
would
are
need high-speed
exhausting.
internet or I would kill someone. Because I am a city kid to the bone.
I should be a city kid because even though I'm coming from a small town in Australia, I lived in the town my whole life and didn't really go out into the country much. But the idea of not having neighbours for hundreds of kilometers is just so appealing to me.
I've only ever lived in Ottawa, so...
The only people who romanticize living in the country are people who've never lived there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fun.
It's and people who come to the city are often like, oh my god, this is too much, I don't like it.
Yeah,
It
rush.
comes to
There's,
right?
The air
Well,
is
that's
always
how I
dirty
felt when
there.
I went to New York.
Oh my god.
Sky is never dark.
The only thing I like about New York are the museums. Sorry,
Not the
New York.
shows?
No.
Oh, well, the Broadway shows I really like. And being able to get stuff at any time of night.
I just want to go hang out with the buildings. They're so tall. They're so concrete. I love them.
Do they love you back?
No, they don't. That's the whole point. They're inanimate objects.
Yeah, no, I'm not fond of the city at all. I like Ottawa because it feels less like a city than it does a small town.
Move to Elmer.
I lived in Alma.
My condolences.
Anyway, back to the book that we're ostensibly talking about. No, you can't ask questions. Oh, he's
Oh,
asking.
4 minutes. We've got 4 minutes.
To get back to the happy ending, no pun intended, that's
All the puns! All the puns!
stereotypical. That's what a romance is, though. If it didn't
Yeah.
have a happy ending,
It
then
would-
it wouldn't be labeled a romance.
I can't agree with that because the happy ending was she's living with Cooper. She's got a baby. They killed the other dude.
Eli.
He was such an
Spoilers.
idiot. Anyway. Oh, yeah.
If you haven't read this book and you're watching this, what?
And, like, they were happy and Grundy. We didn't need the rest
Disney.
of that.
Yeah.
We didn't need the Disney.
Yeah, no, I agree. But then again, I'm far more fond of bittersweet endings in my books, I think. So
It wasn't going to be bittersweet. I couldn't see
In
that
your
coming, but-
books? Or in the books you read?
in the books I read as
'Cause
well.
I've heard things about your books.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Well, good.
Yeah. I do prefer the bittersweet. So the Disneyfied, everything's happy. Just it does bug me.
It
a
was
little.
more than what was necessary.
Yeah. It was
I
overkill.
liked it.
Yeah, I can see how people would. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Yeah.
It was also the first modern romance I'd ever read. Because
Yeah.
before this, I'd only ever read, I guess there were 1970s ones that my mom had lent to me. I was living at my parents' house. They're really bland. So to have a character be funny
And sassy.
and sassy
Oh,
and like make her own decisions
yeah, one of the things I love
without the man telling her what to do, it was really kind of nice.
one of
You
the things I
tried.
really loved about this character specifically was how much of a sexual creature she was and how normal it was.
Which is also not included in the 1970s.
No.
Very true.
Yeah. So she was perfectly comfortable with being sexual, and most of the time, I guess I read too many books where this is sort of a struggle for the female character, and it shouldn't be because it's perfectly fucking normal.
It becomes fetishized in a lot of books.
Yeah, it
really
really
badly.
does seem to be.
And especially in this genre where you have a female protagonist who, in a supernatural setting, the sexuality becomes extremely fetishized. And
Right.
it wasn't in this book.
No, it wasn't.
Really
It was
wasn't.
perfectly normal, and she was out buying like Costco-sized boxes of condoms. Like, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed that about her. All right, we're running out of time. So, final thoughts on the book and star rating. Go.
It was all right. I mean, it had it was predictable. It's what the genre normally does. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad.
Jen.
Like I said at the beginning, it was fun and enjoyable and light, which
Yeah.
is kind of what you want out of a romance usually. So if you pick that up,
Yes.
that should be what you expect. For its genre, I would say a 4 because there could definitely be improvements, but I still really, really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed this book as well. idiotic Cooper's angst for no reason aside, and the stupid Disney fairy tale ending aside, it was actually a lot of fun. I loved the main character. I love that she came out with things like, that was the kind of reaction a girl is looking for when she straps herself into support garments. Like, many of these things made me laugh out loud. It was a really fun read, so I'm giving it about 3.5. Yeah, despite my qualms with everything else. I really enjoyed it. Who wants to pick the next one?
I picked this one, so Jen gets to pick the next one.
That's what you did.
Death by Cliché by... I'm assuming that's a Bob and not a Ball.
Yes, Bob.
Defendi?
Okay, Death by Cliché. So that's what we will be reading in, or reviewing in a couple of weeks. If you have any thoughts on how to flirt with a naked werewolf, leave them in the comments down below. If you have any tips...
The book did not help me on that front. I need to know, people. I need to know.
Wait, is there something about Patty we should know?
We can edit this, right?
I haven't seen her in a while, especially on full moons.
Yeah, right?
Oh, she hates the full moons. I'm not telling you why.
Because the crazies come out.
Leave a comment down below. We'll also have this book up in the Goodreads discussion. I'll leave a link to that down below. If you have any other books you think we should be reading, let us know, and we'll put them in the bowl. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye. Oh yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Or else! Give you a bittersweet ending.
Drag.